you know the voice. You know the song. Anastacia, the leather-lung diva whose classic anthem became a defining song of European and noughties pop. However, in a story of near-death experiences and family estrangement, we're taking a deep dive into the dark truths behind this millennial gem, a pop classic that defied music standards and mortality itself.
She's a great live performer, and there aren't that many great live performers out there from the new generation, and it's pretty much vacuous. Anastacia isn't vacuous, it's full-on talent.
In 2003, Anastacia was riding high, acclaimed globally.
She's huge overseas, but she has sold over, listen, 10 million records.
And huge hits such as Paid My Dues, One Day in Your Life and I'm Out of Love.
I'm Out of Love was a pure kind of dance record, and it's one of the greatest dance records of all time.
Her signature shades, booming voice, helped her become a defining part of the era. She emerged as a compelling figure in direct opposition to the pervasive toxic body image standards that emphasize size zero. Her unwavering, unapologetic confidence in her own skin challenged the narrow beauty norms that prevailed. In an era where celebrities were hesitant to show any flaws or imperfections, Anastacia broke the status quo by displaying her huge abdominal scar from her ongoing battle with Crohn's disease, an incurable condition that required multiple surgeries, causing the singer to relearn walking after being wheelchair-bound. Anastacia was draped in defiance and had the talent to back it up. Her huge voice that echoed the great soul divas of the past, combined with her brand as an authentic pop star.
It's very unusual, and Elton John was the first, and I'm the first female. You know, see what you could grow up and be if you wear glasses.
Yes,
it's actually pretty cool.
That's right.
Was a huge commercial success. A diva who made curves chic and scars a badge of honor. With plans for a tour underway, little did she know her world was about to fall apart.
Floodgate came out, I collapsed to my knees, and my mom just held me, and all I could hear is my sister crying on the other end. Because all we thought was, it's over. It's done.
When I got on the phone with the doctor, he said, "You're going to have a long life." And I was like, but? And he said, but it's malignant, and we found cancer. And I was like, whoa. And I just started bawling.
Due to chronic back pain, Anastacia decided to undergo breast reduction surgery. The mammogram required for the pre-op revealed she had an aggressive form of breast cancer. She was only 34 years old. A 2-hour surgery turned into 8, and a grueling treatment of radiotherapy was needed, severely weakening her voice. During her recovery, and shocked by her own mortality and the desire to actualize her full musical potential, she spent much of 2003 in the studio experimenting with new sounds.
It was like, you know, every day I was at the hospital. How much more rest do you want? I didn't want to feel like a patient for the whole time. I wanted to feel like a human being.
This, however, was no ordinary studio time. It was a musical phoenix rising from the ashes, defying both charts and cancer.
Sprock music is soul pop rock, and when making this album I was trying to figure out what I could do to incorporate a little bit edgier sound to my music, because I felt like that was what was missing, but I didn't want to go so rock that it just totally didn't make sense. So I needed to keep the soul, I needed to keep the pop edge, the catchier melodies and stuff, but I needed a little bit of rock.
Anastacia sought out a new team in the development of her third album. This included Glenn Ballard, best known for co-producing and co-writing the seminal alt-rock album Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette, and Dallas Austin, who had most recently worked with Pink on pop-rock hits such as Just Like a Pill and Don't Let Me Get Me. Anastacia did her best to transform adversity into art, but the radiation had a profound impact on her singing.
I'm praying, and of course I hope that it won't permanently affect my voice, but when I was trying to work and I was in radiation, I couldn't remember at all the note I was singing. Every single time the music started, I was like, eh. Okay, what is it again? And they'd feed it to me and I'd be like, what?
The original demo of Left Outside Alone was performed totally in a light falsetto because Anastacia had no strength to sing the melody with her typical power.
And I wonder if you know how I really feel. And I didn't have this, so I was nothing.
So I had the melody, but
Ich hatte die Melodie,
aber ich konnte sie nicht.
Once she had regained her voice and entered the studio to sing the song, the singer claims the falsetto demo was still etched into her memory. And as a result, to honour the broken woman who had written the music, Anastacia began the song in a light head voice intro, which we all now know is that iconic opening. So although the song wasn't directly about cancer, her health problems had a substantial influence on the final product, and this intro gave the track a unique edge that amplified its overall quality. The mainstream buying public were used to hearing a commanding sound from Anastacia. This light, vulnerable intro that sounded like a combination of Kate Bush and Amy Lee was totally different. It preceded the first verse that had a vocal layering, where Anastacia dug deep into her robust lower register. Deeply contrasting with the siren-like head voice opening, highlighting her range and keeping the audience curious as to where her voice would go next. In fact, some reports speculated that there were two singers on the track due to the contrasting sounds. The chorus was typical Anastacia in power, but radically different in production. Her resonant sound, backed by pop rock instead of new age disco. It solidified the anger in the track, making her pain palpable. And as the song began dominating the airwaves of Europe and Australia, little did the public know who the song was really about.
So it wasn't about a man, it was about the man who brought me into the world.
Quickly went multi-platinum across the world. It was the second most successful track of the entire year in Australia and dominated the European charts, eventually selling over 2 million copies, becoming a defining track of 2004 and helping the album become one of the best-selling albums of the year in Europe, second only to James Blunt. Reviews matched its commercial supernova. Stylist magazine called it genuinely experimental and interesting, while AllMusic declared it as pop rock at its finest. And yet, while the acclaim became ubiquitous, nobody knew that this song was not like I'm Out of Love or One Day in Your Life, in detailing romantic heartbreak. It was about something far more fundamentally traumatic.
This song was about my father, and he wasn't really the best guy in the world. And I felt like I had to let go of that in my life, verbally, in a song. I had to write a song to say goodbye in my heart to him.
It was about her estranged relationship with her father. So the lyric asking for a heavenly father to save me takes on a far more poignant undertone.
Sort of was saying goodbye to him.
Nevertheless, in spite of the intense struggle, Anastacia stood in direct opposition like an Amazonian warrior against her own adversity. Her visuals and public persona were a protest against the notion that a woman could not have sexuality post-cancer.
Because when I read about it, it's like you're too glamorous to be ill.
But being ill doesn't mean you're not glamorous, and I think that that's, once again, for me to speak about it lets people know that just because you're sick does not mean you're no longer pretty. We don't give ourselves breast cancer. We shouldn't be embarrassed about it.
Why can't people with breast cancer be pinup chicks? I've already made 4-eye pinup chicks look okay. You know, I'm defying all the rules. You can have a scar, you can wear glasses, and you can have booby cancer.
She spoke out as a beacon of hope to other women facing health problems, focusing on the recovery and joy that could occur instead of gravitating towards the negative. Left Outside Alone would go on to become one of the most successful songs of European noughties pop, and alongside I'm Out of Love, the signature gem most attached to Anastacia. An anthem forged under the pressure of terrifying health problems, serving as a sonic testimony to the resilience of the human spirit.
I wonder if you know how it really feels.
Anastacia in ancient Greek translates to resurrection, and her phoenix-like endurance in this song is both admirable and captivating. Anastacia never quite reached the same commercial heights again, in part due to ageism, in part due to ongoing health problems,
I have not been well my entire career at all.
and in part due to record label politics. However, decades on, this song has both developed a legacy of one of the all-time great diva songs, and hopefully a reminder to how talented, brave and inspiring Anastacia was and continues to be. Hi, I'm Diva Talk, and thanks for watching.